Hello everyone and welcome to the final, I got these books in December, so I guess it's the final December book haul, but I'm labeling this one library because I got all of these from the library book sale. So there was a part 1 and this will be part 2, and so it's the final one. And I am going to be doing a lot of book hauls. I am so backlogged on all these ebooks that I got. Most of the ebooks that I got for free. Like I would say 90% at the bare minimum I got for free. I saw on Instagram a notification to sign up and for something called free ebooksy or something like that, and so I get an email every single day with books that are free, ebooks that are free on Amazon. Some of these books are on Kindle Unlimited, but then with Kindle Unlimited, you have the option to purchase the book, and sometimes it's 99 cents. And obviously where I'm in the US, this is US dollars. Sometimes it's 99 cents, sometimes it's completely free, sometimes it's $5 or whatever, but I'm getting a notification for ones that are absolutely free. So I have pages and pages and pages and pages because I have been doing this for over a year, but I just haven't been able to, because there's been other stuff that I wanted to film. I just have all the ebooks written down and I haven't filmed an ebook haul in a really long time. So I've got pages and pages, like a notebook, 2 notebooks completely filled, and they're separated by genre. So romantic suspense, cozy mystery, mystery, thriller, horror, LGBT, Black literature, things like that. So I will be doing more of those. You will be seeing those pop up because I do want to put those out there, because a lot of these are authors and books that I do not hear on anyone talk about, and so I do want to put them out because you never know, this could be a great way to find a new to you author that you might be interested in, or books. Anyway, that's not the purpose of this video. This purpose is to do my last library book haul. So these were all from the library book sale. The paperbacks were like all 10 cents each, and I think hardbacks were about 25 cents. That tends to be the typical price at my local library for these books. In this haul, it's all 100% paperbacks. I did look to make sure either if these are part of a series, they are either the first book in a series, or if they're later on in the series, I already have the prior books in the series. So for example, if there's like a 4th book in a series, I already have the first 3 type of a situation. Or if they're not part of a series, they're standalones. So yeah, we are good there. So let's go ahead and just delve right on in. Okay, this first book I have is Knock 'Em Dead by Peter Morfoot. It's high summer in Nice, and life has never felt so full of promise for Captain Paul Durack of the Brigade Criminelle. But as his team is called to a suspicious fatality in nearby St. Laurent railway station, unforeseen problems arise and the picture changes completely. As Durack's newfound troubles intensify, the St. Laurent case becomes headline news and drawing on every resource. He uncovers the knot of chicanery, corruption, and murder at its heart. He will need all his ingenuity to apprehend the killer. Surviving the life and death struggle that follows will take something more. So, Knock 'Em Dead. Okay, this next one is Never Come Back by David Bell. Alright, I've got to look this one up on Goodreads because the library sticker is covering up part of the synopsis, so I can't read that. So let me grab that. And I didn't look up the synopsis on the back of these. I just looked to say, oh, I like the cover and I like the title. It's intriguing. It's something about it is drawing me in. And then I looked to make sure that I don't have the book. And again, like I'm caught up in the series, or it's the first book in a series, etc. So I haven't read the synopsis. So this is the first time I'm reading the synopsis on these. When her mother is murdered, a woman is propelled into a twisted world of danger and double lives in this gripping psychological thriller. Here we go. Okay, Leslie Hampton always cared for her troubled son Ronnie's special needs and assumed that her daughter Elizabeth would take him in when the time came. When Leslie dies unexpectedly, Elizabeth is consumed by grief. Then police discover that Leslie was strangled, and they immediately suspect that one of Ronnie's outbursts took a tragic turn. Elizabeth can't believe that her brother is capable of murder, but who else could have had the motive to kill their quiet, retired mother? More questions arise when a stranger is named in Leslie's will, a woman also named Elizabeth. As the family secrets unravel, a man from Leslie's past who claims to have all the answers shows up. But those answers might put Elizabeth and those she loves in the most mortal danger. I wonder what kind of special needs Ronnie has that would cause him to have a violent outburst. Copyright 2013. I don't know, maybe I'll find out, we'll see. But obviously some kind of disability rep, it sounds like. Next up I have The Iron King by Maurice Druan. Accursed, you shall be accursed to the 13th generation. The Iron King, Philip the Fair, is as cold and silent, as handsome and unblinking as a statue. He governs his realm with an iron hand, but he cannot rule his own family. His sons are weak and their wives adulterous, while his red-blooded daughter Isabella is unhappily married to an English king who prefers the company of men. A web of scandal, murder, and intrigue is weaving itself around the Iron King, but his downfall will come from an unexpected quarter. Bent on the persecution of the rich and powerful Knights Templar, Philip sentences Grand Master Jacques de Molay to be burned at the stake, thus drawing down upon himself a curse that will destroy his entire destiny. Huh. Okay, so it sounds like we have LGBT, specifically male in this. But how much it'll touch on that, obviously, I don't know. Okay, this next one is called The Echo Man by Sam Holland. Detectives Kara Elliott and Noah Deacon are on the case of a series of seemingly unconnected murders, each different in method, but each shocking and brutal. As the body count increases, they can't ignore the details that echo famous cases of the past: Manson, Kempner, Dahmer, and more. As Elliott and Deacon get closer to the unmasking of the killer, the murders are moving closer to home. Meanwhile, Jessica Ambrose is on the run. She's been implicated as the arsonist who killed her neglectful husband and injured her young daughter. With the help of disgraced and suspended Detective Nate Griffin, Jess discovers a shocking link between her case and that of the ultimate copycat killer working on his horrifying masterpiece. Up next I have Cape Refuge by Terri Blackstock. This is book number 1 in the Cape Refuge series. Let's see. A brutal double murder has struck fear into the heart of the peaceful Cape Refuge community. The crime weapon belongs to the victim's son-in-law, but Police Chief Cade remains unconvinced that his best friend took the lives of Thelma and Wayne Owens. The Owens Ministry, a halfway house, shelters individuals far more questionable than Jonathan Cleary. Now people are concerned that it may house a murderer who could strike again. Shattered by her parents' deaths, Morgan Cleary struggles to keep Hanover House running while her husband sits in jail. Her sister Blair is no help. Embittered by the scars of her past, Blair wants no part of her dead parents' ministry or their Christian faith. She wants to sell the house until her determined search to find the true killer uncovers some startling findings. A lethal race against time ensues for Morgan, Blair, and Cade, with far more than Hanover House at stake. So, Cape Refuge. Now, this next one is by an author duo that I would consider a booktube darling type of a name, because I hear it a lot, and that is a book by Christina Lauren, which I know is an author duo. And this one is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. I have not read any of their books yet. Hazel Camille Bradford knows she's a lot to handle, and frankly, most men aren't up to the challenge. If her army of pets and thrill for the absurd don't send them running, her lack of filter means she'll say exactly the wrong thing in a delicate moment. Their loss. She's a good soul in search of honest fun. Josh, has known Hazel since college, where her zany playfulness provides proved completely incompatible with his mellow restraint. From the first night they met, when she graciously told him she would be honored to give you sex tonight, to when she sent him an unintelligible email while in a post-surgical haze, Josh has always thought of Hazel more as a spectacle than a peer. But now, 10 years later, and after a cheating girlfriend has turned his life upside down, going out with Hazel is a breath of fresh air. Not that Josh and Hazel date, at least not each other, because setting each other up on progressively terrible double-blind dates so they can hang out together means there's nothing between them, right? Okay, now this next one is a anthology collection of short stories. Various authors. We have Clive Barker, Ramsey Campbell, H.P. Lovecraft, Brian Lumley, Kim Newman, Michael Marshall Smith, and more. Those are just all the ones that are listed on the front of the cover. And this book was edited, so compiled, edited, all of that, by Stephen Jones. And I'm talking about Zombies, Tales of the Walking Dead. And that's really all I can tell you, because where this is there can't be a synopsis because there's so many short stories. Each one's going to be different. It's just a collection of short stories of zombies. This next one is the only juvenile fiction, so I'm thinking this, is this a middle grade or a YA? I think this is where it's JF for juvenile fiction. I think this is more middle grade, but I guess I'll find out. So this is the only one that's not an adult. Everything else is adult. And this one is A Sure Cure for Witchcraft by Laura Best. Witches are hated in Württemberg, in what is now Germany. In the 18th century, it's not so long since they were burned, and any woman who knows too much, who's too clever or quick or skilled at healing is suspect. Young Lily knows this, and yet she also knows that the wise woman she's learning from, Elise, isn't evil. She is teaching Lily which plants cure a fever, which help a cough, which speed a difficult labor. She only wants to help people, and so does Lily. But Lily's father hates any sign of witchcraft and is furious at their connection. When Lily is just 13, he surprises the family with news. They are moving to the New World. Elise and Lily pledge to be soul friends, inseparable by oceans or years. And across time, in present-day Nova Scotia, Lily and Alice are making their own way toward each other. Lily's learning and plight in the 1700s take front and center in this multi-century story of healing, friendship, and the bravery it can take to be a woman who follows her own heart. Okay, this next one is called The Golden City, written by J. Kathleen Cheney. When her employer and only Confederate decides to elope, Oriana agrees to accompany her to Paris, but before they can depart, the two women are abducted and left to drown. Trapped beneath the waves, Oriana survives because of her heritage, but she is forced to watch her only friend die. Vowing vengeance, Oriana crosses paths with Duilio Ferreira, a police consultant who has been investigating the disappearance of a string of servants from the city's wealthiest homes. Duilio also has a secret. He is a seer, and his gifts had led him to Oriana. Bound by their secrets, not trusting each other completely, yet having no choice but to work together, Oriana and Duilio, I know I'm saying his name different each time, I'm sorry, they are must expose a twisted plot of magic so dark that it could cause the very fabric of history to come undone. I'm hoping there's an audiobook available for this so that I can know how to pronounce the main male character's name. Okay, next up I have The Mysterious Death of Miss Jane Austen by Lindsay Ashford. 26 years have passed since the death of Jane Austen. Armed with a lock of Austen's hair as perhaps her best clue, Anne Sharp, former governess of the Austen family and Jane's close friend, has decided at last to tell her story. A story of family intrigues, shocking secrets, forbidden loves, and maybe even murder. Now do please keep in mind this is fiction and this is tagged as a mystery, so this is all fictionalized. Upon its publication in the UK, okay, and then it talks about how this was published in the UK, Lindsay Ashford's interpretation of a few facts surrounding Jane Austen's mysterious death, etc. So, yeah. Okay, this next one is a romance, and it is The Curious Heart of Ailsa Ray by Stephanie Buteland. I'm guessing is how that is said. Let's see. Ailsa Ray is learning, and she's learning something, and just those last like 2 words are covered by the sticker. She's only a few months past the heart transplant that, just in time, saved her life. Now, finally, she can be a normal 28-year-old. She can climb a mountain, dance, wait in line all day for tickets to Wimbledon. But first, she has to put one foot in front of the other. So far, things are as bloody complicated as ever. Her relationship with her mother is at a breaking point, and she wants to find her father. Then there's Lennox, whom Ailsa loved and lost. Will she ever find love again? Her new heart is a bold heart. She just needs to learn to listen to it. From the hospital to her childhood home, on social media and IRL, Ailsa will embark on a journey about what it means to be and feel alive. How do we learn to be brave, to accept defeat, and dare to dream? So, okay, this next one is another mystery, and that is The Locker by Adrian Magson. A kidnapped daughter is just the beginning. Hello, Nancy. You're at your usual locker at Fitness Plus. The time is 9:15. Your cell phone is dead, and your home phone won't answer, and your daughter Beth is home with the nanny. It will take you 18 minutes to get home if you drive fast. Shame, you're already 18 minutes late. The kidnapper's only stipulation is that Nancy must tell her husband, Michael. Okay. Her only problem is she doesn't know where he is, but she recalls him mentioning a number she should call if anything unusual happens. This triggers a code red at a specialist security company, Croix's Solutions, who send investigators Ruth Gonzalez and Andy Vaslick to track him down. But they can't find a single trace of him. What do you do when a child's life depends on finding a man who doesn't seem to exist? Interesting. Okay, this next one is part of a trilogy. I don't remember what number this is in the trilogy. I really don't. This one I didn't care about because I've already read this trilogy on my Kindle. And I liked it enough that I wanted my own physical copies of this. So I'm happy to finally have one of the books in the trilogy. They are companion novels, but they do, like the second book, even though they follow sisters, 3 sisters. The first one follows the middle, the second the eldest, the third the youngest, or switch those last 2, I don't remember. But so even though they follow completely different characters from the prior books do pop up, and it follows the events. So like book 2 follows the events of book 1. So you still need to read them in order, even though they're more companion books, just for things to make more sense. This one is My Kind of You by Tracy Brogan. Emily Chambers never expected to spend another summer on Wenaway Island. That tells me this is the first book, because I do remember that. So this is the first one. Yet here she is, back in her quaint northern Michigan hometown of Trillim Bay, divorced, flat broke, and dragging along her precarious 12-year-old daughter. It's a simple arrangement. Emily, a house flipper, will renovate one of her grandmother's rental properties in exchange for a much-needed loan. Once a wild card, the reformed Emily also hopes to remodel her reputation and show her family she's all grown up. But coming home is never simple. Emily's dad is more distant than ever. Her younger sister is dating a much older man, and Emily's worried it's a mistake. The cottage remodel grows increasingly daunting. And then there's handsome out-of-towner Ryan Taggart. Ryan has his own family drama. A smart, ambitious land developer, he's come to Winaway to rescue his father from the grips of a new girlfriend and protect their family business. But he's quickly distracted by gorgeous, witty Emily Chambers. There's no denying the attraction between Emily and Ryan. But will their conflicting interests destroy any chance at love? Or will Emily finally get the chance to rebuild her life and repair her heart? If I remember, it's a clean romance. Gets a little rough at times, but I think it's clean. I don't think there's open door sex. If there is, it's very, very, very tame compared to a lot of other books. It's been a bit since I've read it, so I can't tell you for sure, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Next, I have Water Witches by Chris Bohjalian. Patience Avery is a dowser, a water witch. Her natural gifts enable her to locate lost items, missing people, and aquifers deep within the earth. This last skill is more in demand than ever, as her home state of Vermont is in the grip of the worst drought in years. Patience knows better than most that this crisis is only the start. Yet, Patience's opinion means little to her brother-in-law, Scotty Winston. Scotty spent the long, dry summer lobbying for permits to expand Powder Peak, a local ski area that is his law firm's biggest client. The resort is seeking to draw water for snowmaking from the Chittenden River, despite opposition from environmentalists who fear that the already weakened waterway will be damaged beyond repair. As the pressure mounts from his wife and daughter on one side and a slew of powerful politicians and wealthy developers on the other, Scotty finds himself pushed closer and closer to a life-changing moral crisis. Next up is Red Cell by Mark Henshaw. And this one is tagged as an adventure or an action thriller. Rookie case officer Kyra Stryker is back in Langley after a disastrous assignment has given her a bullet hole in her arm and a chip on her shoulder. She's placed in the Red Cell, the CIA's out-of-the-box think tank, working with Jonathan Burke on one of the agency's most ingenious analysts, biggest outcasts. Okay. When the fragile peace between China and Taiwan is violently disrupted and the Chinese are ready to invade, CIA Director Kathleen Cook turns to the Red Cell for intel. Why would the Chinese risk war with America? Their only lead is the top CIA asset in China, codenamed Pioneer, and his position has been compromised. With Burke's tactical help, Stryker embarks on a daring mission: extract Pioneer before he can be arrested. The secrets he holds could mean the difference between peace in the Pacific or another world war. Definitely sounds like a high-stakes book. This next one does not have a genre tag, but there is a sticker on here labeling this as a reader's choice. So these are the stickers that my library uses, and this is The Tobacco Wives by Adele Myers. I'm guessing this is going to be a literary fiction. Addie Sykes is a Okay, I've got to look it up for how to say it. Burgeoning. Maddie Sykes is a burgeoning seamstress who's just arrived in Bright Leaf, North Carolina, the tobacco capital of the South, where her aunt has a thriving sewing business. After years of war rations and shortages, Bright Leaf is a prosperous wonderland in full technicolor bloom, and Maddie is dazzled by the bustle of the crisply uniformed female factory workers, the palatial homes, and most of all, her aunt's glossiest clientele, the wives of the powerful tobacco executives. But she soon learns that Brightleaf isn't quite the carefree paradise that it seems. A trail of misfortune follows many of the women, including substantial health problems. And although Maddie is quick to believe that this is a coincidence, she inadvertently uncovers evidence that suggests otherwise. Maddie wants to report what she knows, but in a town where everyone depends on big tobacco to survive, she doesn't know whom she can trust, and fears that exposing the truth may destroy the lives of the proud, strong women with whom she has forged strong bonds. So, yeah, that sounds good. Next I have Purgatory Road by Samuel Parker. Some of these are in really good, like almost brand new condition, like this book. So, rescue comes in the form of a desert hermit, but hope fades as the couple comes to realize that the nomad has no intention of letting them leave. A chance encounter with a kidnapped runaway and her crazed abductor leads them all farther into the wilderness and closer to the cold brutality that isolation brings. So this group of people have taken a day trip. Let's see. But part of the sticker's covering that little portion up, so that's why it sounded a little weird to start there. Anyway, continuing on with the synopsis, it says, at the edge of his sanity, Jack begins to learn that playing by another's rules may be the only way to survive. In a voice that is as hypnotizing as a desert mirage, debut novelist... Okay, so this is a debut novelist, or was a debut book, it sounds like. So, abduction. I'm guessing that. Anyway, this next one is Deadly Inheritance. This is an Ursula Grandison mystery by Janet Laurence. And this one's, so obviously it's a mystery because I said the series name. American Ursula Grandison accompanies Belle Selden to visit her sister Helen, Countess of Mount Stanson, commissioned by her father, multimillionaire Chauncey Selden, to discover what is wrong with Helen's marriage and what has happened to her dowry. At decaying stately Mount Stanson house, Ursula finds the Earl is a cold fish, the Dowager Countess a Monstanson of Monstanson, the mother-in-law from hell, and Helen has not forgiven her for stealing her great love. Ursula discovers the drowned body of Polly, the nursemaid thought to have deserted the household. Neither the Earl's brother, Colonel Charles Stanhope, nor Ursula believes Polly's death was an accident. Investigating against the Earl's wishes, they uncover a tangle of deception reaching into the past that threatens the reputation of the House of Mount Stanson. After another death, Ursula fights to reveal the truth, to save Belle from dreadful scandal, and to fulfill Mr. Selden's commission with the final shocking denouement. Sounds interesting. Alright, now I'm on the last stack here, which these are all mass market paperback editions of these books. I think most of this stack is cozy mystery. This one is called Better Dead by Pamela Kopfler, a B&B Spirits mystery. Let's see. Burl, I'm not sure if this is a cozy mystery or not, but it's a mystery still. Burl Davis checked out of his life a little earlier than expected, before Holly could serve him with divorce papers over his extramarital flings. Unfortunately, it was not before he nearly bankrupted her beloved B&B, Holly Grove, a converted plantation that has been in her family for generations. Holly would never wish anyone dead, but 3 months later she's feeling a lot more relief than grief, until Burl's ghost appears as an unwelcome guest. Before his spirit can move on, her not so dearly departed needs Holly's human help to bust up the drug smuggling ring he was involved with. She has reservations, to say the least, but agrees to assist him if he'll make a show of haunting the B&B to draw in visitors. But when Holly's former love, Jack McCann, mysteriously resurfaces in town and checks in, she has to wonder if her B&B is big enough for the ghost of her husband and the very real physical presence of her old flame. So a mystery romance is what it sounds like, with paranormal elements where there's the ghost. Does not read the synopsis, and the title and the cover to me do not give cozy mystery vibes. So I don't know. We'll see when I get into it. I could be wrong. If you've read it, let me know if you know for sure if it's a cozy mystery or not. Up next, I have A Wicked Snow by Gregg Olsen. This is a mystery. And that's what that looks like. Hannah Griffin was a girl when tragedy struck. She still remembers the flames reflected against the newly fallen snow and the bodies the police dug up, one of them her mother's. The killer was never found. 20 years later, Hannah is a talented CSI investigating a case of child abuse when the past comes hurtling back. A killer with unfinished business is on the hunt, and an anonymous message turns Hannah's blood cold. Your mom called. Okay. This next one is a Christmas book, just because it has a sticker here note tagging it as a Christmas. Let's see. Interior designer Tess has had a good life far from her Washington hometown. She intends to get back to it. As soon as she sells the cluttered Victorian house and antiques shop she inherited from her sister Emily. But leaving Apple Valley a second time won't be so easy. There's her grieving nephew Alex to consider, and there's Sheriff Cade Cunningham, the adolescent crush who could easily break her heart again if she let him. To Cade, Tessa was simply his high school sweetheart's kid sister, but now there's no denying she's a beautiful and caring grown woman, one he'd like to get to know. Except that Tessa is determined to leave again. If Cade wants to change her mind, he'll have to show her that small town life has its lovable side, and that he does too. Most of all, he'll have to convince Tess they are good together, and that every step has led her right where she was always meant to be. So a Christmas romance. Next is another romance, and with the cover I'm saying this is a Western because it's a cowboy. Lucky in Love by Carolyn Brown. So a Western romance. Bo hasn't got a lick of sense when it comes to women. Everything hunky rancher Lucky Bo Luckadoo touches turns to gold, except relationships. He's gone and lost track of the woman of his dreams, and now he's got himself tied up with a gold digger. Millie can mend a fence, pull a calf, or shoot a rattlesnake between the eyes. When Spitfire Millie Torres shows up to help out at the Lazy Z Ranch, she's horrified to find that her nearest neighbor is Bo Luckadoo, the very man she'd hoped never to lay eyes on again. And if Bo ever figures out what really happened on that steamy Louisiana night when they first met, there'll be the devil to pay. This one, the cover makes me think this is a Regency romance. Now, just because something's a Regency romance, I have learned this, does not mean it's going to be a sweet romance. It can very much have steam. I have learned that. Oh, I got a notice. Okay. All right, and I'm talking about Earl to the Rescue by Jane Ashford. So if you've read any of Jane Ashford's book or Earl to the Rescue, please let me know. Is this sweet or is this steamy? I'm just curious. It's not going to matter. Either way, I'm going to read it. So, Gwendolyn Gregory doesn't know what to think when she encounters the dashing Alex St. Audley, Earl of Marin. She's in over her head in London society, trying to fend off a scoundrel who will stop at nothing to ruin her. Just when she most needs him, the Earl arrives on the scene. But are his motivations trustworthy, and can he avert ruin for them both? I do like the time period that Regency novels are set in, but just because it's Regency, again, does not mean that it is a clean romance. This next one is a cozy mystery. Cozy mysteries have, it's like you can generally tell a cozy mystery by the title and the cover of the book. This is the first book in a series called A Cookbook Nook Mystery, and this is Final Sentence by Daryl Wood Gerber. They just have a certain vibe on the cover. In need of a change, Jenna Hart leaves the high-pressure world of advertising to help her Aunt Vera open a culinary bookshop and cafe. Now that's cool because I have an Aunt Vera as well. She's my great aunt, but I have an Aunt Vera, so I like seeing Vera's name pop up. That's cool. Anyway, back to the synopsis. It says, back with her family in Crystal Cove, California, Jenna seems to have all the right ingredients for a fresh start until someone adds a dash of murder. As a marketing expert, Jenna wants to make sure the grand opening of the cookbook nook draws a crowd, and no one is better at getting attention than her old college roommate, celebrity chef Desiree Devine. But when Desiree arrives in quiet Crystal Cove to do a cookbook signing, the diva stirs up more trouble than business, especially when she turns up dead. Known for stealing husbands and burning bridges, Desiree left behind plenty of suspects, including Jenna. Though the celebrity's life always appeared to be an open book, Jenna will have to read between the lines in order to clear her name and catch a killer before another body is served cold. Cozy mysteries, there is no open door sex. If there's any sex, it's a fade to black scene. You don't get the sexual terminology and innuendo. You might get like her chest looks good or his butt looks good, but that's it. Swearing is very mild. If it's in there, you might get a shit, hell, or a damn, and that's it. So, and there's very little, if any, blood. They might say the blood seeped, from the mouth, or there was blood around the body, but nothing more graphic than that. And they all follow standard formula. Either the main character or someone close to the main character is a suspect due to a dead body that was found. The police are not doing a good enough job investigating, or they're just extra nosy and want to insert themselves. So anyway, they insert themselves into an investigation to try to clear themselves, or whoever it is that's a suspect that they care for, to clear their names, and they uncover some stuff. So every cozy mystery follows that formula that I have read so far. I've yet to find a cozy mystery that deviates in any way from that. So, but yeah. Another one that is a cozy mystery are these last ones. These last ones, I only have 3 more to show in this video. They're all cozy mysteries. I can tell from the cover and the title. They're all cozy mysteries. This next one is book number 1 in a Call of the Wild mystery called Woof at the Door by Laura Morgan. Grace Wild's job is anything but normal. When she's not helping out at the zoo by comforting agitated lemurs, she's listening to the woes of annoyed house pets. Grace's life gets even more complicated, though, when the cops summon her to a crime scene to help deal with the murder victim's terrified Doberman. The pooch turns out to be the only one who saw what happened the night of the shooting, and only Grace can get the information out of him. The problem is, how will Grace tell the distractingly gorgeous Sergeant Kai Duncan that it's the dog who's giving her the intel without spilling her big secret or sounding crazy? Left on her own, Grace will have to follow the pup's lead to track down the killer. But she'll have to be careful, or curiosity may end up killing the cat whisperer. This next cozy mystery is A Potion to Die For, first in a series. A Magic Potion Mystery. This is by Heather Blake. I've got to look this one up because the checkout sticker is covering up part of the synopsis, so I do need to look this one up. Got some pretty good luck with being able to read most of the synopsis on a lot of these, or on the most of this in this particular video. A Potion to Die For. Okay. While I have this pulled up on Goodreads, I'm going to check. There's 3 books out in this one so far. It might be complete because the last book was published in 2015. So this might be a complete, just a cozy mystery trilogy. Okay, trouble is brewing. As the owner of Little Shop of Potions, a magic potion shop specializing in love potions, Carly Bell Hartwell finds her product more in demand than ever. A local soothsayer has predicted that a couple in town will soon divorce, and now it seems every married person in Hitching Post, Alabama, wants a little extra matrimonial magic to make sure they stay hitched. But when Carly finds a dead man in her shop clutching one of her potion bottles, she goes from most popular potion person to public enemy number one. How many times can I say potion in this? In no time, the murder investigation becomes a witch hunt, literally. Now Carly is going to need to brew up some serious sleuthing skills to clear her name and find the real killer before the whole town becomes convinced her potions really are to die for. Whew. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, so this next one I've had to pull up because I do see the sticker is also covering part of this. But this is Going Through the Notions by Kate Price. And this is a Deadly Notions mystery. And this is book number 1 in the series. So I have this pulled up, and same situation. There's only 3 books in this series. The last one, again, 2015. So this one might be a complete series as well. It says, a retired school teacher and yes, daughter of an F. Scott Fitzgerald fan, Daisy Buchanan has finally found her calling in the quaint village of Millbury, Pennsylvania. While her husband endlessly renovates their old house, Daisy happily presides over Sometimes a Great Notion, a quirky shop that sells sewing bits and bobs, antiques, and jewelry. Daisy has her eye on an antique dollhouse and a classic Singer featherweight at the local auction. So for some of you who don't know, Singer is a brand of a sewing machine. Until her friend and mentor auctioneer August Backstead is led away in handcuffs. It appears he bashed in the head of a drinking buddy who stole a set of fancy fountain pens. Daisy's sure the sprightly old-timer couldn't have done it. But if Daisy can't stitch together the bitter truth, and soon Angus will be going once, going twice, gone forever. It says this includes creative tips for vintage notions, whatever that means. I want to see, is that in the back? Oh, there's a recipe in here. There are some recipes in here. Okay, so it's got yard sale tips, Martha's awesome oatmeal cookies recipe, creme brulee cheesecake bars recipe, how to make a lavender sachet, new uses for old sweaters, repurposing an old sewing machine cabinet. So it's got a couple of things in the back, so that'll be interesting. So that's it. Let me know, have you read any of these books? Have you read, maybe not these books, but have you read from any of these authors before? Let me know. And what are your thoughts on these? Do any of these sound intriguing to you that you want to look into these books? Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.